Hi, my name is Kim and welcome to day one of Vlogmas. So it is Friday, December 1st, 2023, and I will be coming to you every day from today to the 25th with a bit of an Advent short story calendar as well as a yarn Advent calendar. So last year in 2022, I ordered the Hingston and Olsen short story advent calendar, and it was one of my favorite things of the year. They are a Canadian company, and this is not a paid promotion, but I love promoting independent Canadian businesses. And I just had such a fun time with this that I ordered their 2023, and look how gorgeous these editions are. So there are 25 finely curated short stories. I'm going to be reading one every day and reporting back to you. Also, I knit. So Polka Creek is one of my favorite companies. They're out of Alberta, and they put together a advent calendar. So they arrive with these beautiful packages, and every day I am going to open one. Also not a paid promotion. So thank you for joining me, and let's get reading and knitting. So for the Hingston and Olsen Advent Calendar, look how lovely that is. Day one, the short story is called Notes on the Craft of Fiction by Sam Shelstead. And that's the inside cover. I have never heard of Sam Shelstead, but he is the author of the novels The Cobra and the Key, from which this story is excerpted, and Citizens of Light, as well as the short story collection Cop House, and he lives in Toronto. So I am going to get reading with this. And this is day one of the Advent calendar for Polka Creek. And I'm going to be knitting a blanket from this. This Advent calendar comes with a pattern with it, but I have a different idea that I'd like to do. Sorry, Ripley. There's some tissue for you. So this is a great way to start an Advent calendar with a perfect brick red, and it actually is called brick. And these are DK mini skeins. And as the days go on, I will also share my knitting progress with you. So I've finished this lovely gem of a short story. So a little bit about it. It's told in 24 short paragraphs, and it is definitely a satire. It's very humorous. I laughed out loud on quite a few times. So in the beginning, I felt it was a little hard to tell if this was nonfiction or fiction, because it is very much a person telling you about the craft of writing, but it definitely is fiction because it goes to interesting places, but I'll get there in a couple minutes. So the very distinctive first person voice is a writer. It's never said if it's a he or she, but I feel like it has a very masculine tone to it, so I'm just going to say he from now on. So the narrator is a writer, and he is quite cheeky and sarcastic, and that becomes even more predominant towards the end of the story. He's giving advice on writing, and he's speaking directly to the reader, which is also a little bit accusatory. So one of my pet peeves is when writers are trying to describe something to you and they tell you to Google it. It drives me crazy because I am arriving at a story because I want the writer to tell me something. And Sam does this, but then he proceeds to go on and explain himself, so I will forgive him for that slight blunder. Sam's main character gives you all sorts of different scenarios for plots for a novel or a short story, which makes me wonder, because the narrator is so cheeky, if these are actually references to some of Sam's own work. I would love to find that out. And the narrator goes to very interesting places in terms of he becomes highly critical of fiction in general, and he starts calling out genres. So he definitely says that he is a literary fiction genre writer, and he looks down on thrillers. He looks down on thrillers to the point where he says that he could write a best-selling thriller because it's so easy, but he doesn't want to. But the ironic and sarcastic thing about that is that if he did write a best-selling thriller, he wouldn't have to work at Value Village anymore. He even hates sci-fi, and he quotes Dune. And it becomes clear the further that I read that the advice that he is giving on writing is clearly the worst advice for writing possible. There are segments towards the end of where he rewrites a scene by George Orwell, and it's quite clear that his rewrite is atrocious. And another theme that I thought was quite Canadian that runs through this is the theme of beer. The narrator brings up beer a lot. There's one long paragraph in which he's talking about how much he admires the Lord of the Rings and how he wants to have a beer with one of the characters, and then he goes on to say, well, I'd have a beer with Arwen, and I'd have a beer with Sam. And he just goes on and on. And even in the last paragraph, and I won't give this away, but it ends with him wanting to have a beer with a certain character. So this was a lovely way to start my morning and to start day one of Vlogmas. It was certainly a funny and enjoyable read. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. If you could, please like and subscribe in the box below. Please comment please comment and tell me what you thought of this video, what you'd like to see in videos going forward. What are you doing for the month of December? As well, I have started a Patreon account, and for those of you who don't know, Patreon is a place where you can tip creators. If you're so inclined, if you'd like to put a tip in the tip jar, that would certainly help with some of my expenses in terms of buying yarn advent calendars and buying short stories and all of the equipment that I use. But if this is something outside of your scope, please do not stress about it. I will continue to do Vlogmas for 25 days, and we have fun here. So thanks so much, and I hope to see you for day 2. Bye.